Welcome back. You are still tuned into the Cape Town Daily. This is Cape Town TV. Now for your entertainment news, as well as you know that this is the part of the show in which we bring you stories about entertainment, arts and culture, as well as a guide into what's happening into the mother city. Now, Inqwelo Cinema recently hosted a successful screening at the Nelson Mandela University in George for their new film, My Father, My Responsibility. I had a chat earlier with Inqwelo's Yandisa Ndzeku about the short film and where the next screening will take place. Let's have a look. From Inqwelo Cinema, they just released a new movie, or like did a screening of it. But let me not dwell further. The guy is here with me. Yandisa, how are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm great. So, just before we go to the movie, right, let's talk about what Inqwelo actually does as a collective. Just walk us through that.
Well, Inqwelo was established mainly to focus on talent development. You know, the industry can be very difficult for some people to get into.
Right. So
the idea then was to be the bridge between, you know, the undiscovered talent and the mainstream media. We started it as an organization, but we later turned it into a private company so that we could be able to make films, and we felt that as a company we would contribute more than we could as an organization. So we are doing that currently. So what we do is shoot these movies and give people the platform to express, and as well as the covering events and those kind of stuff too, of course, because as a company we need to make income in order to be able to develop this talent. So we cover events and do photography and all of that.
Wow, that's amazing, man, to have started actually from, you know, as an organization to make a transition to a company. And then now let's talk about how many movies have you guys produced? Because I know Umona, and then this is the second one. So is there a third one?
This is actually a third one if we're counting that. If you look at the fact that Umona is actually in two segments, we have Umona 1, and then we did the aftermath later on, which is also still coming out. It's available currently on Madifa, the aftermath, but we haven't put it up to like the normal channels like publicly yet. So this is the third film. And then we do have those short films. We're running a series of films that was focusing on depression at some point. Called Too Broken. So we have like 3 segments.
That's a very important issue.
Yeah. So we have like 3 segments of that. But as far as big films are concerned and big sets is concerned, this will be our third.
Man, you're doing big things. And I like the fact that, you know, on Umona, I like the story behind it. You know, for someone who comes from the township, you relate to it. But now let's talk about, you know, you mentioned that you are also doing videos, photography. Do you also do music videos, or it's exclusive to those kind of things you mentioned?
Well, the idea with Andile that we talked about is first understanding and perfecting what we know first, and then we can move into domains like when we're discussing, even outside just now, we're discussing they're going into music videos and commercials, because that's a space that we've been touched into, simply because we wanted to perfect what we are doing first, because as self-teaching people you can only do so much, because we are learning as we go with Inqwelo Cinema.
So for someone who just heard the name Andile, his name is actually Andile Nodada. He's also the co-founder with Yandisa as well. But now let's move on to actually the film that you guys screened in George on the 10th of September, if I'm not mistaken.
10th of September.
How did that go?
It actually went amazing. But I think we might be in trouble in that we kind of overbooked the venue. We have 200 seats, and the venue was like, the capacity was 200, ended up having around 300 people. So it was a big crowd. But man, I wanna thank the community of the Garden Route. They showed great support. Not only on the day of the screening, when we started the project, we had a lot of support from the George Herald publishing our casting calls to the places like the food pantry, the store, Kloppers, assisting with equipment. So they came together nicely, which was the idea when I started the project. The concept behind it was for me to actually garner collaboration, because I felt like the industry there is really segmented, and people,
true.
It's kind of clicky. People are clicking to their stuff, and then one is doing this one. But I'm like, we can bring all of these things together, because essentially art is art. So we can find a way to bring it together.
Facts.
Yeah. So I brought in people that are publishing books. We featured a book there as a form of a marketing for it, and then we brought in musicians as well for the movie, because the scoring of it, I needed the soundtrack to come from an artist that is from the Garden Route, from the previously disadvantaged communities on the Garden Route. So we had that person, I booked a studio session for that, and then we had that person recording the song. So it was mostly about collaboration more than anything else, and they came together very well.
So I was reading an article, I just forgot the name of the newspaper now, but apparently your star of the movie was actually from George.
She's actually from Mossel Bay, but that's just a few kilometers away from George. But the idea was to target people from the Garden Route, so Mossel Bay is part of that. And she actually just won the first princess of Miss Eden FM currently, because she's a model as well. So we have that going for Courtney Williams, and we're very proud of that. We're very proud to have her on our project as well.
Ah, that's great, man. So let's talk about the movie now before we run out of time. It's called My Father, My Responsibility. Yes. What is the film about? Just walk us through that real quick.
It's just that, actually. The leading actor there is dealing, she had just lost her mother, and she's dealing with the father who's suffering from esophageal cancer, and she has to pay for the chemotherapy. But how she goes about that is stealing from the person that she's working for, and then the movie is just the domino effect from that, what follows after that, because if you steal money from me, I will want it back, more especially if I'm a gangster with a gun. So I will want it back. So we have that situation going. Yeah, but that was an underlying concept on a story I was writing that's just separate from the movie. But I was like, hey, let's bring this in when I was researching about child-headed families when I was doing that. Yeah, so we're focused on that. The character is following that story.
Before we run out of time, just tell us two things now. How was it like working with fresh talent? I understand that was it a bit difficult because they are rusty and all of that?
I wish Andile was here to answer that, because I was organizing from a distance.
Okay, you're more of the producer.
Yeah, I was in Limpopo when the film was being filmed, but I saw from the auditions that we had a lot of work to do, but that is work that we're always prepared for. The idea is to get people on set and train them, give them workshop as much as we can, make sure that they are ready to play that character, and also to play any future characters that may come. And I do hope that people actually look at the movie and cast that talent, because the idea is to expose them to as much opportunities as is possible.
Ah, that was great, man. That was really great. So, to be honest with you, it's very difficult jumping to the industry, as you mentioned as well. But now let's talk about where people can find the movie and where is it screening.
Well, currently we have a screening that's coming Saturday here in Mowbray at the Bertha House. We will have that. And previously we did George. Following next of that will be Port Elizabeth. We're trying to give the whole country a chance to see the film. But also we're trying to garner support because we want to develop it into a feature film. So we want anyone that can support, that is willing to support and come on board. And as self-teaching filmmakers, we need people who can advise and actually assist to make this a better project than it already is.
Okay, great, man. Now, before my producers kill me, talk to that camera. Where can people find the tickets, and also where can they find you on social media?
Well, on social media, we are Inqwelo Cinema all across. As far as the tickets for Mowbray, actually, we're not doing any tickets. We want people to come into the venue and experience the film. We made it a free entry film. So you can just come into the venue and experience the film. It's going to be taking place on Saturday, the 17th of September at 2. So we're starting at 2.
That is Yandisa Ndzeku speaking for Inqwelo Cinema and the amazing stuff that they do. Have a great evening.